Good morning, guys. My name is Akbar. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to discuss some basic troubleshooting commands which will help you in your regular day-to-day administration job. Okay, let's understand what's happening here. So let's consider a situation where your pod got stuck in a crash loop backup. So how do you come to know this? How do you troubleshoot this? So the basic command is kubectl logs and the pod name, whatever the pod name is. Now this will help you. What is the issue? To check the logs. So it will display what has happened, information with regards to that particular time. Yeah, if any situation occurs, 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after, you have to trouble check the logs. So what has happened exactly? What is the issue based on the time? Okay, which is really important. Now describe pod name. What this describe pod name is going to do is it will help you if there is any issues with the image, like an invalid image, issue with the tagging, versioning, okay, missing registry details. Okay, so this kubectl describe pod name will help you with the like kind of a metadata kind of a stuff about the image. So what are the inputs you are going to give the image name, versioning, and the registry details. Okay, now next, but if the pod is in pending state, how do you check it? Same thing again. kubectl describe pod name. So few basic things which I have mentioned earlier. kubectl logs pod name, which will help you to check the logs. The second thing is kubectl describe pod name. Now this will help you to check resource request versus node capacity. Check for taints, preventing scheduling, no available nodes. Okay, I hope you know the taint and toleration concept. So scheduling pods on a node, so that is the purpose. And if you want to troubleshoot deeper, we'll cover that in upcoming sessions. Now this session is just to understand some basic commands which will help you to check the logs, which will help you to check the uh, image details, versioning details, registry details, all those things. Okay, kubectl logs pod name. The second one is kubectl describe pod name. Okay, and for pod in pending stage also the same, describe pod name. Okay, why I am saying every time here kubectl? See, if you look at a Docker, the Docker command starts with Docker only. If you look into GitHub, whatever it is, okay, git pull, git push. So the commands will start based on the technology. So DevOps is a combination of multiple tools where you have a multiple administration commands, where the developers deals with the Git, DevOps admin deals with the Docker. So Docker starts with the Docker commands. And in terms of Kubernetes, it will start with kubectl is a keyword. Okay. Now, service not available. If any of the service is not available in Kubernetes, how do you check? First of all, you give the command called kubectl get svc. Now, here get svc in the sense like if you give kubectl get pods, what will happen? The number of pods are running or not. In the same way, kubectl get svc. It will display you the services. If you want in detail, then you can give kubectl describe service name. So these commands are really important. The more you do and hands-on, the more you get familiar with the commands. Once you are familiar with the commands, then you can, it's easy for you to troubleshooting. I'm not saying you are the one who is going to resolve all the issues. You are the one who is going to find the RCA and troubleshoot. And then let's start with basics. Start with the basic troubleshooting commands. You need to know kubectl logs, pod name, kubectl describe pod name. What about the services? If you have to get pods, if you have to get a deployment, if you have to get service, kubectl get is a command. So if you want to know more detail, means kubectl describe service. Image pull failure, again the same thing. Okay, kubectl describe pod name. I have already discussed DNS issues inside the cluster. So if there is an issue, validating DNS configuration in the pods. Okay, etc resolve conf. Okay, now we have to use this command like for checking core DNS logs, kubectl logs -n is referred to namespace. Okay, It's referring to namespace. kubectl logs. So where you have to check the logs with respect to this namespace -l Kubernetes app for this particular app. Okay. So kubectl run -it busy box image restart never ns lookup Kubernetes. So DNS issues inside the cluster. So you need to know the basic commands to check the logs and to run this command. So without restarting, you are checking it. Okay. Intermediate troubleshooting scenarios. So node not ready. So this is one which you will come across as part of your administration activities. kubectl get nodes, kubectl describe node name. Node looks fine, but still it's not performing well. What do? Cordon the node, drain the node, and then route the traffic from from that particular node to other node. High pod restart across a namespace. kubectl get pods hyphen all namespace override. So pod restart across a namespace. So you want to get a pods, check readiness, liveness probe, investigate resource totaling overkilled. Okay, so you have to get the pods across the namespace. And how do you restart? All together, there is some command. Yeah, we will get it. Service discovery failing between namespace. Use the full DNS. Now next, PVC not bound. Okay, kubectl describe PVC name. kubectl describe pod name if there is any issue with the config map and secrets. So a little bit advanced, like pod OOM killed frequently. So again the same command describe. Liveness readiness. How do you check? kubectl describe pod name. Manually test the probe path, curl or get against the endpoint. Increase the timeout seconds. Initial delays seconds if the app starts slowly. So you have to do a little bit troubleshooting and understand if the response is if the pod is ready and not accepting a traffic and it's accepting a traffic and not responding, then in that case you have to increase the timeout seconds. Network policy blocking a traffic. kubectl get network policy. kubectl locks etcd cluster issues. Control plane. Cluster certificate expiration. kubeadm certs. So related to certs. Ingress not route traffic. So overall here, if you look at the commands, basically talking about kubectl locks, kubectl describe. Okay, this is one category. kubectl locks pod name. kubectl describe pod name. Okay, if you want to get pod service deployment, whatever it is, it's just kubectl get. If you want to check the logs, what is happening based on the timestamp, kubectl logs pod name. If you want to check any issues with the image, any issues with the versioning, any issues with the versioning, describe. Okay. So mostly all the commands like kubectl get, kubectl describe, kubectl get, kubectl describe. See here. Yeah. See here. kubectl get, kubectl logs. And in case of certificates alone, you have like kubeadm. Certs check expiration. Certs renew all. Restart control plane components after rotation. Control plane components crashing. API server control manager. Check logs. Okay, this is really important. If something is really happening, this 99% this won't happen. But if it happen, what to do? Inspect a static pod manifest. Okay, check resource usage, create certificate validity and RBAC permissions. Role-based access control. Okay. So, basically ingress will help you to route the traffic from external world to internal world. Okay. This is the one which is going to talk to your internal load balancer and help you to route the traffic and expose the port to the external world. Okay. So mostly the commands are like kubectl get, kubectl logs, kubectl describe. So mostly the commands rotate for basic troubleshooting commands for Kubernetes point of view. This is gonna really helpful for you. Okay, I'll be sharing in the document in the YouTube description also all these commands so that you can have a look. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. Please click on like and subscribe my channel if you are the beginner in terms of Kubernetes. These commands are gonna really help you. In my previous videos, if you look, I've done the labs like how to create a pod, how to create a replica set, how to do the deployment, what is a stateful set, what is a config map, what is a secret. All these things I've done labs by installing Kubernetes on the laptop and by using YAML files. I've done and created a components. I've shown you the components. Okay, all those things. I hope this video is going to help you with the basic troubleshooting commands at a beginning level if you are new to Kubernetes. Please click on a like and subscribe my channel. I really appreciate your support. Thanks for your content. If you're a beginner and if you want to understand some basic things, then this video is really helpful for you. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. Please click on like and subscribe my channel. Thanks for your time. Thank you. Bye-bye.